Hello!
Hi guys!
Welcome back to another PSHE lesson. Even though we're on the Chaplaincy YouTube, this is not Chaplaincy, this is PSHE. And we're coming back to school.
Woohoo! I'm so excited. Don't know about you guys, well, I'm probably correct in knowing that you are done with Google Meets. So are we. And it's really exciting because we get to see each other again.
Yes, never thought I'd be excited about being stuck in a room full of teenagers again.
Yes.
You know, seeing your faces is going to be such a treat. So we cannot wait. But we're not here to reminisce. We're here for some PSHE.
We are. So last time we did PSHE, we looked at making pancakes. So Liam did obviously the normal pancakes and I did my banana pancakes. We also went into kind of the environmental factors about how you can reuse food that maybe is going off. So those bananas that you have in the cupboard that are,
Mash them up.
are nearly out in the bin, but you could use them for your pancakes. We looked at how coming together as a family and eating is a good thing. We looked at many different aspects of eating food, being healthy. And we are going to move on now to another key essential.
Yeah, but before we did that, I actually stole the last one. It was one of our essential ones.
It
was essential to us, though, as a Catholic school.
Yes.
We had our beginning of Lent Mass, and actually Father Damien challenged us to think about those disciplines of Lent: fasting, almsgiving, prayer, and actually how engaging in those things is good for us, good for our world, good for our relationships, and actually how they build up a stronger community, build God's kingdom here on earth, and actually through something like almsgiving we can actually help those in need. So now I think in this one we're going to try and mash all of that together. New skills, doing good.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
So we are going to be looking at sewing essentially, which is definitely an essential skill and one which I wish I had learnt when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
And we actually got someone who was an expert in to teach us how to do it. So we are looking at how to sew on a button and how to sew up a seam, because we know that you guys out there often break off a button on your skirt or break a seam in your shirt or your trousers, and that's it. You go home, you ask your parents to buy you a new one. Whereas actually, if you learn the skill, you don't need to do that anymore. Yeah. Okay, so we asked Miss Lynott to come in and give us a very quick but expert lesson in how to sew on a button and how to sew up a seam.
Yes, she is an absolute master seamstress. She's made First Holy Communion dresses, Irish dancing
wedding dresses.
She's done it all, and she's going to teach us simply how to sew.
Hello everyone, and I am here with Miss Lynott, who is going to hopefully show me how to sew on a button and stitch up a seam as well, which is very useful for me and for you guys also. So, how do we do it?
Okay, well today I'm going to show you how to sew on this button to this fabric. Now I've chosen this fabric because it's nice and bright and the button is nice and bright and the thread is a different colour so we can see what we are doing. But normally on your school shirt, your buttons, your shirt and your thread are the same colour, same as your blazer or same as your skirt. But today we're going to use the big button with the coloured fabric and the different colour thread so we can see. First thing we do is thread our needle, and rule of thumb is your thread is doubled over and it's to your elbow, okay?
Okay, pull mine down, there you go.
So if it's any longer than that it gets knotted. So the next thing to do is put the knot in the thread.
Okay.
So you're holding your thread at the bottom with your two fingers.
Yeah.
You're going to wrap it round twice.
The two fingers that you're...
Yeah, wrap it around the two fingers.
Yeah.
Okay, nice and together.
Oh.
All together. Everyone with me? Yeah, round your fingers twice.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're going to put the needle through.
Ooh.
At the top where your nail is.
Yeah.
And then pull it through all the way to the end. And hopefully you'll get a nice knot at the bottom. So see, you've got
so those two threads rather than just the single thread?
Yeah, the two together, nice and tight. Twice around.
That's where I was going wrong.
And then through and to the end.
Got
and then
it.
we chop off the bit at the end.
Okay.
That's yours.
Perfect.
So the next thing is you have to figure out where the button goes on your shirt. Button usually has a higher decoration or ridge on the top of the button, so that you know that's the top of the button.
Yeah.
The bottom of the button is usually flat. Okay? So we place it on the fabric. Okay, and we're going to get the thread and we're going to go through one of the little holes.
Any of them, it doesn't matter which
Doesn't
one.
matter. But we're going to go straight opposite to the next hole. So go opposite. So we're going to do that 4 times.
Just on those same 2 ones?
Yep, same time. So that's 1. So you can touch it over. 2. And just get the same position. So this is going to be 3.
So it's 4 times you go through?
Yep. And our last time, just try and get it in at the same spot all the time so it keeps the stitch nice and tidy. 4. And then we swap over to the other side. So 1. 2. 3. And 4.
Just hold it still for a second once you put that through so I can see the cross pattern on the...
Okay, just a second. Let's get that last one. And this is 4. Okay. Okay, so that's the basic stitch on any button.
Well, I've done it wrong, so you might not want to look at mine.
Okay, so the next thing we do
I've
is
got a cross like that, but I should have gone like diagonal.
diagonal. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Lots of buttons have different ways of stitching them. You can go. Some buttons only have 2 holes, and you just go across anyway. So it doesn't make it.
So if I've done it wrong like that, should I then cross it over?
No, just keep going then for the opposite what you've done.
Okay.
Okay, so the last thing to finish off the button is, so you put the needle up through, you bend down your fabric, so you don't go through the button the last time. So you bring it up and you make a little ridge between the fabric and the button. So by doing that, you go around 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And why do we do that? Because it lifts the button off the fabric, so it's easier to insert into the buttonhole. So then we put it through to the back, through to the back. Okay, and then we're going to turn it over. Now this is a little bit knotted because I didn't look at it while I was stitching it. And we're just going to do a couple of stitches to secure it in place. 1, 2, 3 stitches to secure it in place, and then you just chop off the excess, and that's your button.
Okay.
Stitched.
Wow. Well,
Okay.
mine doesn't look as fancy.
Yeah, but if you tighten that up, let's tighten it up.
Tightened it up quite a lot.
Okay.
That's as tight as it will go.
I think we'll do it again.
Well, this isn't working, is it? The other 2 go round.
And you roll them round your finger twice. Right? And then you put the needle through. Now, and pull it all the way.
Looks like this is the shot.
On Friday, when do you have PE? Oh, well, you'll be doing filling.
No, so you've got that once.
Not at there.
Twice.
So obviously we've learned now how to sew on a button, and hopefully all of us have mastered that. Now Miss Lionel is going to teach us how to sew up a seam. Now a lot of this happens in school, and you've actually repaired someone's trousers who's actually gone out to the court, played football, has come running into the PE office, and they've got a massive split down their trousers. So this is going to show us how you could fix that if that ever happens to you. So how would you fix a seam if it were to split?
Okay, so I've just gone into the PE office here and picked up this shirt. So we've casually ripped a little hole in the top of the seam of this shirt. So instead of going home and throwing that shirt in the bin, what we're going to do is repair it. And you don't have to have a machine to repair it. You can just do a very simple stitch to repair it. So basically, all seams need to be repaired on the inside. So that's the first thing you do, is turn your shirt to the inside. I'll show you this way. So I'm left-handed, so it's going to be the opposite way for everyone else. So as we can see, this is the ripped part. Let me get it apart here. Okay, so you put them together, line them up so they're nice and straight. okay, and we can see that the rip is from here to here, okay, very small rip. So basically we're going to follow the original line of stitching all the way down to the end just to repair this shirt. Okay, so I've prepared the thread. This time I'm going to use the same colour thread because you can't use a different colour thread in a seam. So rule of thumb to the elbow so it doesn't get knotted, double knot on the bottom, and then we're going to start about 3 or 4 stitches back from where the seam is ripped. Okay, so we're just going to take the first one very slowly, pull it through, you've got your knot, and we're going to go back over that stitch very slowly. Okay, so that's secure to start. So we're going to do that all the way to the end, nice and small stitching, keeping the top seams together so the shirt doesn't lose its shape.
Right.
Okay, so we can do 2 or 3 at a time. When you get a bit more confidence, you can do a few more. So we're just going to do 2 at a time at the moment. So pull it nice and taut and keep it from puckering. So when you do 2 or 3, you go back over the first stitch, okay, and then you do 2 or 3 more. The smaller the better, because we're basically doing the machine job by hand. So just keep it nice and taut, pull it back, go back over the last stitch. 1, 2, okay, pull it through, and then straighten it up. So straighten it up, back over the last stitch again, and that reinforces the stitch. So that's 2 more. Pull it through, nice taut, pull it straight. Make sure all your threads are straight. Go back over the last stitch and make sure you stick to the original line. Okay, pulling it through.
You make it look so effortless.
Oh, thank you. So back over the last stitch. 1, 2. Okay, pull it through. And then keep it nice and straight. So we're coming to the end here. So back over the last stitch again. 1, 2, we'll go 3 this time. Okay, pull it through, nice, and take your time, there's no rush. So you can see a little thread is pulled up here, so we just go back, so as you pull it nice and taut, it'll come straight. So when we got to the end, so this is the original line, we've come to the end, so we're going to go over that 3 times to make sure that it's nice and secure and it doesn't rip again. 1, 2, 3. That's nice and secure and that won't rip. So pull it taut so it's nice and straight. The stitching is following the original line and we've secured it either side of the rip. And then we just clip it. Now in the shirt there's a top line of stitching here. Now you can go along and do that if you want, but this is enough to repair your shirt for now. So we're going to turn it to the other side and see if we can notice any difference between the hand stitching or the machine stitching. Oh, look at my finger there, I must have.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That looked actually quite easy.
Yes. Disclaimer, that was my first button I've ever sewed on before.
Have you got better since?
I will wait to answer that another time. I think what it was that I was just too far away and I couldn't really get the little details that I needed. I think that was my mistake.
Looping twice, 3 times around and passing through. So I'm no good at those tiny little fine motor skills.
Yes.
That's my downfall. I'm a big motor skill person.
Yes, and so am I, okay. Clearly.
So something that we can practice then, actually, and actually maybe it'll be good for us. The concentration needed for fine motor skills tends to be a bit more, I guess.
And it's practice. Practice makes perfect, and you guys all know that. So it's definitely something I'm going to go away and practice, because I realised rather than throwing out something, I can just fix it. Rather than going out and buying something for a lot more money, a single button and a single thread is something that can fix that. So definitely what I'm going to do, and I hope you guys do as well.
Okay, and so you showed how easy it was to do it, but actually sometimes we don't consider the impact it is of being so disposable with our clothes, without fixing we waste.
Yeah.
So Miss Bowden, if I was to ask you what you thought was one of the world's most environmentally devastating industries, what would you have said it was?
Okay. Something like plastic bottles, oil,
Yeah. So we see plastic bottles in the ocean all the time, choking the fish, killing
chewing gum
animals.
everywhere.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the world's most environmentally damaging industries is fashion.
Right.
And so there's horrific amounts of water are used to make amounts of stuff, the pollution that comes out of dyeing and all that sort of stuff. But there's also the human impact, the amount of people that are exploited to make our throwaway fashion culture.
Yeah.
So I spoke to some experts, our geography department, Miss St. Ledger and Miss White, and I tuned into a bit of a conversation between them when they discuss the impact of our disposable fashion culture.
Okay, hi everyone. Miss White and I are here to talk to you a little bit about the environmental impacts of fast fashion. I'm sure many of you have bought from brands before like Boohoo, Misguided, Nasty Girl, Pretty Little Thing, Zara. You may even heard about the big news last year when a bikini sold for £1 from Misguided, and that really brought up these issues about the impact of fast fashion on the environment. So let's start by seeing how much Miss White knows with a little bit of true or false. So Miss White, fashion production makes up about 10% of humanity's carbon emissions. What do you think, true or false?
10% seems to me like a lot of carbon emissions. That is a lot. Bearing in mind so many people drive, they fly, lots of boats travelling around, all of these emissions. I think that has to be false. I don't think it can be that much.
Okay, so might surprise you to know actually this one is true, that fashion production makes up 10% of humanity's carbon emissions, and we'll find out a little bit more through the next true or falses why that is. So if we look at our second fact, clothing production has roughly doubled since 2000. So in the last 20 years, double the amount of clothes being produced. Miss White, what do you think, true or false?
I think for that one, there has been quite a lot of population increase, a huge population increase since about 2000, actually. So, although it hasn't doubled, I think probably people have got more money, so they're able to buy more. So I think that's probably true. Let's go with true for that one.
Okay, yeah, and well done, Miss White, you're absolutely right. It's doubled since 2000, so that is true. And I think a big part of this is in Europe, when we look at fashion companies, the average number of collections they now produce a year has increased from 2 collections in 2000 to 5 by 2011. And some companies are even worse for this. So for example, Zara, they put out 24 different new collections every year. H&M is usually between 12 and 16. So there is so much out there on offer that is updated throughout the year, which is driving higher rates of purchasing. Okay. Third fact, so it takes about 2,000 gallons of water to produce 1 pair of jeans. What do you think, Miss? True or false?
Well, I think what I know about jeans is that jeans are made of cotton, and I know that cotton takes up a huge amount of water to make it into something that we can use. Although 2,000 gallons seems like a lot, I'm going to go with true for that one because they're made of cotton.
Absolutely right, and it really is the cotton that is the issue when it comes to our jeans. So it is true. It is a huge amount of water. In fact, 2,000 gallons is enough for one person to drink 8 cups of water per day for 10 years, and that is how much water it takes to make 1 pair of jeans. So no, it's really quite surprising.
That's a lot.
Okay, last one, Miss White.
Okay.
All in all, the fashion industry is responsible for about 20% of our water pollution worldwide. What do you think?
Well, I think the oil industry is going to be responsible for a lot of that water pollution. I know that us having plastic in the ocean is also a source of pollution, but based on the answers that you've given me so far, the facts you've given me so far, I think it's probably more than 10%. So I'm going to go with false for that one.
Okay, so in total it is 20%. The big reason is to do with textile dyeing, so that when we produce our items, whether it's jeans, whether it's t-shirts, jackets, the dyeing of the textiles produces huge amounts of waste product, and often that is then dumped back into streams or rivers, particularly in those emerging countries where lots of companies have moved their production to, so it will be cheaper. So we can see really that fashion industry is having a big impact on our environment. So Miss White, do you have any tips that we can share with the students and staff at St Joan of Arc that can help to reduce our impact on the environment?
What I think is really, I was reading something the other day that people do not wear 50% of what's in their wardrobe. So I suppose the most important thing is that people wear what they have got before they go and buy something new. But if they do want to buy something new, I think the most important thing is to buy sustainably if you can. I know that H&M are starting to run sort of a side brand, I guess, or some clothing that is sustainable. So I think that's what I would say. Make sure you wear what you've got, but also if you are going to buy, make sure you try and buy sustainably.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think they're really good tips, Miss White. And even things like just thinking twice before you throw out clothes. Can you repair them before you throw them out? Can you donate them to a friend? If you've worn something before, you don't want to wear it again. Do you have a friend or a family member actually who will wear it again? Or to give it to charity. I know even some brands or some clothes shops now, you can bring clothing back to them once you have finished with it, and they will give you vouchers back for returning the clothing when you are done with it, because they can then recycle it. So lots of options of ways that we can be more sustainable with our clothing choices. So hopefully for all of you thinking about your wardrobe and what you might be wearing after lockdown, we've given you some things to think about with the impact of fast fashion on the environment.
I had no idea how much fashion could really have an impact on the environment, and I'm sure you guys didn't either. I always knew the term fast fashion, but I never realised fast fashion isn't about that you click it on the internet and you get it there and then at your door. It's actually about the fact that it is fast because there's many things that are being done because of that.
Yeah, it's just so disposable.
Yeah.
So what do we do with these new skills and with this new information? So this information has given us a reason why we should invest in it, but what can we do with this? Well, obviously we can wait for a repair to happen when we break our clothes. We could perhaps look into mending them now. But I wanted to set you a challenge which ties in with this season of Lent and our almsgiving, our doing good. You see, in February, we usually go to Udayan, and this year we missed out on going because of the pandemic, which is maybe very sad. Udayan's my happy place. Mm-hmm. And every time we go there, we try to take some gifts with us. And one thing we've noticed is that the girls there love receiving things like hairbands. See, I'm always finding my daughter's hairbands all over the place. They take them off, they don't care where they go because we've got hundreds of more, it seems. They just appear.
Yeah, endless.
They're on the hairbrush handles, they're on wrists, they're all over the bathroom
Same
floor.
as hair bubbles, everywhere.
All that sort of stuff. Well, actually, that's not the case in Udayan. They get a hairband and they really need to look after it because they haven't got money just to throw away to get more. So every time we go and we visit them in February, we take with us hairbands, brushes, scrunchie, sometimes some naughty treats as well, like some nail varnish, just to help them feel good about themselves. We all know that looking good makes us feel good as well. And they have this amazing hair. They don't ruin it with fake products. They actually grab aloe vera plants and they work it into their hair. Their hair is so naturally shiny and clean and healthy. What they love is these hairbands. So rather than say, hey, everyone buy some hairbands and we'll take them over there, Miss O'Hagan from English has shared with us a pattern, a design on how to make a scrunchie, which uses simple materials and the skills that we've learned by watching Mrs. Lynot's video just now. So we're going to try and put them to the test and make these scrunchies that hopefully by the end of Lent, I will send a big package over to Udayan. Now, if scrunchies, hairbands isn't your thing, we could also use these skills to make something for the younger kids at Udayan, like a sock puppet. I wish I had one on my hand, but we've just done this. We're unprepared. Okay. So we know how to sew buttons for eyes. We know how to we could make a cut and sew a seam for a mouth. And if we've got that odd sock in our drawer that's still clean and doesn't smell of feet, maybe we can raid PE for some of those old PE socks.
Yeah.
And we can make some sock puppets. The kids at Udayan love that as well. Usually we take some teddies that have been knitted by nanas, but we haven't been able to take that for the new kids that join Udayan at 2.5, 3, 4 years old. If we could make maybe some sock puppets to send them, they would love that because it would also keep their hands warm. It always makes me laugh when we go to Udayan. It's like 35-degree heat and we're in shorts and t-shirts. They're wearing bobble hats and fleeces because it's their winter. So they would love those, put them on their hands or sleep with them. It will give them something to play with, something simple that actually through the skills of this PSHEE lesson we've learned we can now make gifts and do goods to let these people know, these people that feel forgotten, you know, their society doesn't necessarily look out for them because they've suffered from leprosy. We can send these gifts which say, you matter, we're thinking about you, and we want to know you, and we want to treat you well, and we get to use these PHSE skills. And this is what it's all about, these essential skills that help us, help others, better world.
Help us, help you, help them.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, because it's a PHSE lesson, there's something else for you to do as well.
Of course, always. It doesn't end here. So this is it from us, really. But what you now need to go and do is exactly what you did on that other PSHE lesson, is that there'll be a Google form that will be sent to you by your form tutors, and you need to fill that out. There'll be questions about what happened in this video. There'll be questions about how fashion can impact the environment. So please go away, do that form, hand it back in, just so that your form tutors can see how much you have really engaged in this video. And that is it from us, really.
We cannot wait to
So
see you back
excited,
in
guys.
school and end to Google Meets.
Thank you.
Face-to-face education, PE outside rather than sweaty in your living room.
Can't wait, guys.
There's going to be stuff going on. Remember, there's going to be changes that are going to help us stay safe, wearing our masks and that sort of stuff. Let's do it so that we can get out of this situation and return to our new normal, whatever that looks like. Okay?
Exactly.
That's it from us for now. We'll see you soon. We'll see you in person. Yeah.
See you
Take
later.
care. Bye.